here, Bob from Oregon's Constant Gardener. Welcome to the OCG Fam Show to you, my YouTube buddies. What's going on? Let me know in the comments. We're doing a little update on the plants. Then we're going to go over to Nectar for the Gods, Oregon's only, and see Scott. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the plants, they're looking, look at the camera here. They're looking pretty good here. Let me show you this one. This guy, hold on a second. That guy right there, look at that. He's got his second set of leaves there. I think they're all looking pretty good. We got the Herba, what do you call it? The Urfa Bieber. Those guys are, they're looking good. They're coming up. They're coming up solid. The Coyote ones, they're coming up good. Should be cool. The rest of them, we're still waiting. You know, with these super hots, I guess, I've been told that they're slow to come up and slow to grow, but potent once they get there. So that's what's going on with the plants. As far as Scott Ostrander, we've got a ton. All of you were very good about doing the viewer questions. Put the viewer questions in. We've got a ton of viewer questions. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to water all of these. Then we're going to head over and see Scott. I'll see you there.
Must be an age thing.
What's that?
Flat bill.
I think so, yeah. Well, they just wanted to be different from, you know,
Old
the
people.
generation before them, yeah.
Or
they'll be
four
back.
generations before.
Yeah, your kids will probably be wearing the curve bill because the flat bill is the
Probably
old
have like
folk
some
thing.
kind of hover bill, like Back to the Future hover bills. That you see like this.
It just sits like that, yeah. It doesn't actually go in your head.
No. That way you never mess up your hair like yours. You're the crispy hair.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice. Wearing my new hat.
What is that? EV. E8?
BB.
BB?
Backwards B, front B, kind of like that.
Oh, I gotcha. What is it? Is that some kind of leaf on there or something?
Yeah, it looks like a maple leaf, like
A
from
maple
Canada
leaf.
or some
Canada! It's probably a Canada thing with the maple leaf. Maybe they'll change their flag. They'll go to green instead of red.
Well, and add a couple more blades on there.
Yeah, a few more blades on it. It'll be fun.
Turn it more sativa, less indica. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Hey there. We're here with Scott. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to answer some questions.
Yeah.
All right. Carolina guy. Big supporter of the show. His question is, hold on a second. We're going to start over.
Why?
It's going too slow.
It's not.
All right, we're going to go then.
It's fine.
Hey Bob, good to
too
see some
slow.
sprouts.
From Oregon.
Hey, one of the
Go to
little
sprouts.
plants has got the double bubble leaves on it. It's got a second set, and some of them haven't even showed up at all.
Is that a technical term?
Double bubble, yeah.
Double bubble leaves. So when you get to the double bubble leaf
When the
stage, then you
second one
can start
comes out.
running at quarter strength at the beginning of the schedule.
You think so?
No.
Hey Bob, good to see some sprouts. I'm loving the full-on. We were talking about full-on a while back.
Okay.
So far, it's playing nice with Nectar and SLF 100. I have a question for Scott and yourself. I'm running the comprehensive regimen using the feed, tea, feed, flush routine, which has me feeding every other day with 5 girls at 5 gallons. No runoff at all, and they're all very happy. It just seems to be a lot of feeding, more than I've done in the past, and I know this is a bird of a different color compared to NPK. It just feels like a lot, and I just have to question to make sure I'm on the right track. Is this common, or am I overdoing it? The plants seem to be loving it, and I know they have the final say, but have you heard this from others as well? Sorry to be so long-winded. I just wanted to make sure you understood that what I was trying to describe. Keep up the great work. So, he's wondering if he's overfeeding. What do you think?
Well, are they burning? If they're not burning, you're not overfeeding.
Well, but are they ever going to burn no matter how much? Or are you wasting food? I guess
you'll
what
see.
you know what I'm saying?
You'll notice when plants are overfed. They'll show you, discoloring tips. They'll get weird edges on the blades of the leaves. They'll,
Okay.
You can stunt the growth. The soil. I mean, basically, the soil slurries are going to be huge tools for you right now. If you're looking in your soil slurry, you're putting in every other day at, let's say, 900 to 1,000 parts per million.
Right.
If you're always at 250 to 300 in the soil,
They're
then,
eating it up, they're happy.
You're not overfeeding.
Okay, so maybe he's underfeeding.
Well, you know that too. Your new growth would be yellow, pale,
Okay.
the intravenous discoloration. You'd have clawing or tip. Again, it's
I gotcha.
just keep your eyes on the plants. Now, the one thing that I think catches people off guard with this nutrient line is, it's very much like a health food regimen of building the metabolism of a healthy plant. So if you start giving them regular amounts all the time, they're going to start accepting it all the time. Then they're going to demand it all the time, and then you're going to end up feeding all the time.
I would suppose, like with a healthy person, that the healthier they are, the more good they are at
the more
their food.
To consume.
They can more eat. The more they can eat, the more they get from that. And even if they eat some,
hear this.
even if they eat some bad food, they go get some McDonald's. They probably metabolize that McDonald's better than I would.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So
but they'd feel it.
The plants are getting healthier as they go. So if you're, let me ask you this then. So let's just say that we're right on the edge of overfeeding. Should I push it till I start to see that it's overfed?
Well, it depends on what your budget is.
So, but that's what I wanted to ask. Is it just the budget? So if I push it to the absolute limit, am I still going to get as good of a product in the end as if I just kept it happy?
It depends what you're going for. I mean, if you're going for oil, you're going for yield, you're going for quality. These are all pieces of that puzzle you have to play and weigh in on, where you can push harder and harder and harder to get a bigger yield, but you may lose some of the quality on the end part of that.
So if I'm going for flower quality, the ultimate thing is looking for a happy-looking plant.
A happy plant that's, basically that's consuming what you're giving them. There's no buildup after a good feeding. There's no, the foliage is looking good. The new growth is looking good. It's not consuming the oldest growth fast. It's just watching that plant. But I've had certain genetics, and it's genetics. I have people that if they run full strength of what the recipe says, that's too much food. They'll show you the difference. I got guys who can double our recipe and pump them and still need more food. So genetics put a big play into that. Your environment puts a big play into that. But really, it's teaching and training this plant how to consume. And if you're giving it a lot all the time, it's going to want a lot all the time. And
so you can't get yourself in a jam financially because you've
fed the thing. Huge, but if you're a 4-planter,
it's not a huge
should
deal.
Be fine.
Okay. He also said later on down there, he's added the Triton's Trawl, Persephone's Palette, Megamorpheus, Aphrodite's Extraction, Bloom Chaos, and Hygeia Hydration. So when you start using more things, maybe you're not feeding more physically, but you're using more things, does that affect overfeeding?
If they didn't need it, yeah. But I mean, all those things, if you're in the bloom cycle and you're, the plant's healthy and happy and we're taking it, I don't see the problem there.
Okay. But if you were going for solid straight production, you want weight, you would push as hard as you could and
I
then
would
back
go all the
off
way to the tip burns, and then I back it off 5 to 10% and maintain that until I go into a flush. But, I don't think you necessarily get the best quality there. And again, genetics play a huge part into this. So, it's a tricky one. You have to kind of find your sweet spot, your budget, and where your plants are happy and healthy.
Okay. Next question. Jack Russ. Hey, Bob. Good to see you back. I let off for a couple days.
What? We don't pay you to do that.
I was doing something.
Yeah, so was I.
All right. I've been recycling my number 4 soil after viewing Tim's video. Tim did that video with putting what should the ppm be when the soil is ready to be reused? Is there an acceptable range? What can be done to raise if it's lower than that range? Thanks, and have a great day.
Well, if you've done the whole recycling process and, you've spent your 30 to 50 days, or I'm not sure exactly what Tim put on his, but 30 to 50 days is ideal. If you're adding, re-amending, the ideal range to plant in would be that 2 to 500 range of parts per million. Anything above that I'd start being nervous, but anything below that, that doesn't necessarily mean you don't have the food there. That just means that it's been broken down. The EC is not registering, but the plant can still access it. So to increase it, I would just start feeding them or adding in something like one shot at the time of transplant so they have that access to food.
So now Tim does it a little differently than we might do it. I'm not wrong, but
he's from Colorado. Everybody in Colorado should.
There's the biochar and the bokashi and the one shot and the worm castings, whereas you might just throw some one shot in there and go. Is that right?
Yeah, for what I'm doing. Yeah, I mean, I've done both. I've done the biochar. I've done the kashi. I think I'm more of I use kashi during the cycle rather than in between cycles.
But you'd be using it to modulate how much of that you're getting an available form of the one shot. or as a bacterial thing?
No, more of a fungal house than a bacterial field.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, mine's just more for catering to the life in the soil, but for recharging my soil, I personally just throw in the one shot.
And I would assume with the one shot, one advantage of it's not super crucial what the ppms are, because once you get the bacterial life of the plant going, it's going to eat up what's there or not.
It's not going to register it. I mean, we make brand new fresh batches number 4 with 50 pounds of one shot per 2 yards, and we find at high 450 parts per million after a 30-day digest. So it's still really low. It's still very mild, but we know we still have 3 to 6 months of feeding from that. So it's hard to put a ppm number on it. I look at what's dangerous to plant in.
Right.
And anything over that, 550, 600, getting into the 700, it's just too hot. So I would almost do a core of fresh number 4 in the middle, plant my transplant in there, and let my roots go out and find that hotter soil.
Okay.
Rather than planting directly into a hot soil.
Okay.
But there's no ppm to aim for other than below 600.
Okay. With the new laws, and this is from Canuck Farmer. He's a Canadian, I would assume.
Great White North.
Hoser. Take off.
Take off, you hoser.
They probably don't think that's funny in Canada.
No.
Is that funny in Canada? Do y'all watch the Great White North?
It's a jetty.
Yeah. He says, with the new laws in Canada, are you guys able to ship your product to Canada?
Unfortunately, the new law in Canada doesn't allow bone meal from the U.S. So until the new law in Canada says, hey, bring your dead cows over, we're not registered in Canada. We looked into registering in Canada. Canada still believes that the European bovine mad cow disease is present in the U.S., which it's not, but we're going to pretend it is. No countries will share their bone meal across borders in fear of the prion that lives in the brain and the stem.
Okay.
The spinal column. We are mad cow free bone meal. However, Canada will not accept our bone meal as an agricultural product. So we are currently working on different forms of bone meals that are non-bovine, that we can blend into the Medusa, the Gaia, the Herc. Once that's all said and done, then we're going to start actively registering a whole line of Nectar products that will have a different form of bone. So we're hoping mid-2019 we should be good to go up there.
Nice. All right. Micro mole. I get it now. His question is, question for the Big Kahuna. Will we ever see the dreads back? Did you have dreadlocks?
I had long hair.
Maybe it was just like kind of extra greasy one day.
It's just curls.
So not even in the Grateful Dead days did you have the dreads?
No. Grateful Dead days, I was a kid. I was like a little pretty boy. I looked like Pat from the farm. So yeah, no, I don't have the patience for dreads. I just don't. I don't even have the patience for this beard, but I do it out of laziness. But to sit there and groom dreads, oh no.
That was a nightmare. I didn't know. I thought it just happened.
Evan had dreads. I mean, a lot big dreads.
Evan looks like he could, like, is an ex-military guy or something. He doesn't look like he was a hippie. But he was, is that when you met him doing the Grateful Dead thing?
No.
But he did Grateful Dead too, didn't he?
I don't think so.
Oh, really? He seems to know all about it.
Evan?
Yes.
He may have. No, I don't think he... If he did, it was just like small tours on the West Coast.
Oh, I got you.
He was surfer. He was... he's always been on this counterculture. Definitely did the dreads when I first knew him. We used to call him Too Tall.
He's weirdly tall. Like...
Well, I always thought so until he cut his dreads off. But I'm like, clearly not that fucking tall. I'm as tall as he is.
That's funny.
But he seemed taller with those dreads because they're like this big. And you're like, what are you, 6'9"?
He looks like some kind of weird banyan tree or something.
Well, yeah.
All right.
No dreads.
No dreads. Okay. Okay, this is from Zeke's page. Ask Scott what the ppms of a Herculean harvest flush should be at, please.
You mean of the solution?
Well, there's another question. It wasn't there. It was in some of the...
checked.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I think there's some misunderstanding maybe about the ppms in the soil versus the ppms in the thing, because when you're doing like salty type stuff, don't you? when you're doing other kind of synthetic things, you actually measure what the ppms of your mixture are, correct? Am I wrong?
Oh
about
yeah,
that?
no, it's critical. Like if you're on a
yeah.
mineral-based, salt-based nutrient line, and you run at 2,800 parts per million, you just burned everything.
Done. But that's not the case here.
No, and I think with that, I've never actually measured at my home what 2 tablespoons of Herculean pH to 6.4 would be in parts per million. I just haven't because that's my flush.
You just go. It's not gonna overfeed them.
No, you're never gonna overfeed them at that. Even a seedling can handle that load. But I'm wondering, and I'm just gonna off the cusp because I do get this email often where, I'm trying to get my parts per million into that. According to your feeding schedule, 300 to 500 parts per million is ideal. And every time I mix up this nutrient, it comes down to 900. So I add water until it dilutes, and it's like, so. To clarify, that 300 to 500 is what the root zone should be 2 to 3 days after a feeding. So if I'm in at 1,800 parts per million of nectar and I go back 2 days later and it's 250 to 350, they ate everything I gave them. If it comes in at 600, then something's not being absorbed. So now I have to look to see whether or not I need to do a flush.
Now, I know you don't recommend doing hydro, and it's probably not you would use something different for that, but if someone is trying to do some kind of drip type thing or something like that, where they're doing a quasi-hydro thing using nectar, would it matter then? Or still?
Oh, always. I mean, anytime your root zone is affected by too much salt or the pH is off, then the plant stops absorbing the nutrients. So you still want to do your slurry test even in the top feed drip system, run to waste, or even recirculating because, well, especially if you're recirculating. Because if you're pulling the salt out and you're just going to keep refeeding the salt, eventually the plant's going to access only the salt and stop trying to eat the calcium and the protein, and next thing you know, your ppms will build up.
Okay.
And so
that's the importance of the soil. The reason you recommend doing the soil, I would assume, is that it's a big part of the process with this, more so than with a salty kind of thing.
Soil's just more forgiving on the big picture for most growers. So if you mess up today, you have a few days to respond, where in hydro, you have to be on your game. And, there's some amazing... I got a couple guys in LA right now running nectar through deep water culture, through recirc systems, and doing just fine. I mean, but they've put in years designing their system. They've learned it the hard way. They learned it with the synthetics. Then they're switching over to natural. And, they're getting it. They're dialing it. But it takes a lot of dialing in, and you got to be paying a lot of attention.
And not just dialing in this system, but having a strong base before you even got to this system.
Well, you got to understand how hydroponics work.
Yeah.
I mean, temperature is critical. pH is critical. It's, we have a very much I won't say a canned response for hydroponic inquiries, but what we try to explain to people is our line is calcium based. That many of our products, I can name 4 to 5 of our products that are not bonded calcium forms. I mean, they're just a calcium and a phosphate together. They're not bound up with a bunch of other elements. Well, the longer these forms of calcium sit together in a reservoir, they bond with the other elements in the other products like Gaia Medusa, Herc. They just start reacting and becoming compounds again. So the longer they sit, the less available they are at the time of feeding. And you don't see nearly the results you do when you just are mixing and feeding soil.
It's the reason they're not all in one bottle to start with is because they couldn't be. Yeah, I got you. So they're well, I guess there's a lot in Gaia or Medusa where there's a lot of stuff together, and they're very good, but not nearly as effective as when you
but they're designed to feed the microbes in the soil and the plant at the same time, where the Herc is designed to react with the plant.
Right now.
Anything it doesn't get reacted with then becomes a compound in the soil for microbes to eat. The other critical thing... Tic Tac just exploded in my mouth and started watering. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to start drooling.
That's a great story, Scott.
Tic Tacs. Is the pH adjustment in a hydroponic setting can be an issue. Because if our Olympus Up is a basically it's nanotech limestone. Super fine. When we digest it or hydrolyze it, we get it to about 85% soluble. It's a rock, so to get 100% soluble, it's ungodly. The downfall of that is, as it's sitting in that reservoir with the Herculean and the organic acids and all the other products, that limestone is going to continue to break down. So if you start your pH at 6.3 in a reservoir with Olympus, in a week that could be 7.1.
Because it continues to do its job.
Breaking down, and the pH will rise. So.
Whereas when you put it in the soil, that's a good thing because it's buffered all the soil, that it's keeping things in check.
Well, it's reacting to the acids. So as the acids are breaking off of humic, humates are breaking off of your peat, your cocoa. As things are digested, they're leaching out an acid, and that's buffering that so it doesn't become acidic. But in a reservoir, there's nothing buffering it. It just keeps climbing. So what we recommend two people is start the pH at like 6.61, and by the end of the week, the reservoir should be up at like 6.667. And it'll climb that much. But then you're still grabbing that whole zone of nutrient availability by going from a 6.1 to a 6.7 in a week period of time. But that part's tough, is staying on top of your pH.
So you just use some dirt.
Back to the dirt.
All right, I think I've got one more question for you, and then it kind of fits into those. I'm going to take a bunch of questions and put them together. So, we just got to, like, don't let this stuff sit forever. It's going to react and do it. You got to kind of mix it up and go. But you get these questions of, like, my herc is super watery. My what do you call it? The Hades is all stringy and weird. My Triton smells like butt. So
Should never smell like butt.
No?
It should smell like the other part of the front. The front butt.
Okay, but you get what I'm saying. I was trying to be,
PC?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
Is.
No.
Front butt.
Anyway, so I was thinking at some point we should just lay all these out here and jug them into a clear container and show what they're supposed to be. But is there a rule of thumb for if it has turned?
You walk in the room and they're hissing, they're turning.
Bad at the start, but
they all smell bad.
Yeah, because of what they are.
Yeah, you break things down into their simplest form, they just smell awful. I mean, and then the mint is what we do to make sure it doesn't smell awful when you buy it. The downfall is the mint will, as it ages, it goes away. As you open bottles, it goes away. So, Triton's smelling like dead fish scales. That's what it was.
What it does.
And when we bought it, that's what it smells like. The best way really to tell things like, one, it's funny because like Pegasus, it's spoiled the day we make it. I mean, that's
the idea.
The design is we're taking a nitrogen protein chain and we're busting it up into its simplest form that will not bond or react to anything. So it's a free radical, and it just wants to explode.
Yeah.
So, if I find a Pegasus potion bottle that's bloating, it doesn't mean it's even bad. It just means, oh my gosh, it's going to smell awful when we open it. But it's still safe to use.
Okay. So is there any point at which this stuff has turned where you should not use it?
I mean, it's
not really.
Decay is decay.
Yeah.
I mean, no. I mean, it becomes less effective.
Is this an entropy situation where the clock is winding down with this stuff and years down the road?
Yeah, but I even have stuff from like 9 years ago that's been in a cold shed that still shows plant response. I mean, I don't get it nearly as reactive as a brand new fresh bottle or something within the last year, but when doing a bricks test after watering, I'm still seeing increase. So it's tough. I mean, we could literally go down each product. Like Hades, I get that a lot. There's often like a stringy thing through it, a glob of snot, or a thing that looks like pink crab meat.
Yeah.
Well, there's none of that when we make it. It's literally the citric reacting to the fulvic reacting to the phosphoric. And something in there is a protein that's creating meat-like
that's probably what the crab with the K is.
It could be.
When you get to the store, it's like some Hades turned into...
some citric and fulvic blended together and reacted.
So unless you open the bottle and something crawls out and says sup, you're okay.
Yeah, or the color's off really bad. Hades is just acid. It can't spoil. It is a preservative. Everything in it is a preservative. It's just some weird anomaly of some protein. Even Frank scratches his head on. I don't know how or where this forms from. We've dissected them. There's nothing to them. They're protein. You can put it right on the top of your soil. The microbes will eat it.
Huh.
I mean, it's harmless, but it's odd. I mean, that's an odd one. I have to talk people off the wall sometimes. Like, I don't know what the hell that is. I went out and bought another one, found some more. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. Use somebody else's. However, it's a gentle down, and it's got different organic acids, so it's not just phosphoric acid.
So the down is somewhat similar to other products, unlike everything else that's pretty... Like, the up is different from... You can't use someone else's up with this line.
You shouldn't. You're not going to do it. You won't do it as well. But a lot of people have to use somebody else's up just to run it through, like, fine drip tape or drip lines because the limestone will clog up those things too, or can. Where a bicarbonate, a lot of the pH ups are a bicarbonate, or not a bicarbonate, sorry, but a hydroxide. So it jacks the pH up really fast, but it can damage a lot of cells and proteins.
Because that's what we're trying to do here, is get some kind of even, not varying the pH a ton at any point during the process.
No, nice and easy. Yeah, and that smell, I don't know what to tell you.
The way it goes.
Just smells.
Yeah. It's like life. You just,
Yeah, some days you shower, sometimes you don't. Some days you just stink.
You can just get the little Brute by Fabergé on your nose there.
Exactly. I don't have to smell anything except bad breath anymore, so I'm good to go.
All right. That's the show, I think, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
What else?
There you go. I love you. Scott, he's fond of you. He is.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
All
right.
Sure. Love my wife.
She's a sweetheart.
That's what you said yesterday.
I have not said anything bad about your wife.
Smart. She does officially sign my name to your check.
Yeah. She can be
my wife.
for real.
She ain't no bullshit. She ain't no hippie from Southern Oregon, that's for sure. No. Where she was born in Southern Oregon.
Doesn't sort well with her roots.
No, that's it. It's you'd think a commune baby should be a little gentler and sweeter, but man, I wouldn't. I mean, I've tried wrestling her. She kicked my ass. She's like a $110.
Wiry though.
Oh, just like
doesn't hold back. See, that's the thing, is almost anyone holds back. But some people don't.
No, she's got 2 boys in her house. She can't hold back. So holding back just gets you. That shows weakness in her house.
And go right to 100. Don't ramp it up slowly.
No, don't give me the head.
All right, that's the show.
Deal. Dealio.
For more information about anything on today's show, go to our website, OCGFAM.com. And if you buy anything while you're there, use the code FAMHARVEST. It's going to save you 20%, and it's a lot of fun. The OCG Fam Show, it's pretty good. It happens every day. It's the OCG Fam Show. See you tomorrow.